What's up, Gold Chasers? All right, it's been a while. It's time for an update. So let's talk about weight loss, GLP-1s, peptides, and what really happens behind the scenes. All right, so if you're new to the channel, my name is Tashambi Berry, and this is Gold Chasers. All right, now this is a channel that you can come to for motivation, inspiration. This is where I document my weight loss journey. And so if you are on a weight loss journey, this would be a good place for you to start. So as far as I go in my weight loss journey, I started at 443 pounds. And so I've lost quite a bit of weight. And that's from exercise, a GLP-1, and from, working on my diet. And so the GLP-1 helps a lot with the eating and overeating and, all of that. So I will say that. But when it comes to motivation, dedication, getting up in the gym, the discipline, that is all you. So within that time, I guess I would say the last 2 years, I've lost 180 pounds. And it has not been easy. And again, I've tried a lot of the different tools and I failed at a lot of them, but in this one, I stuck to it. And so not to say that the tool that I chose is the tool for you, but this is the tool that worked for me. And so you have to find that tool that works for you. But my biggest recommendation for anything, regardless what tool you use, is working out, getting in shape or trying to get in shape, going and getting off the couch, moving, walking, doing all the things. I started out walking, now I can run. And I just keep setting the bar higher so that I don't get complacent and then, start gaining weight back or get bored with this. Like, this is a lifestyle that I've always wanted to live. But it took me a long time to get that right mindset to stay focused and stay dedicated to it. So, and I know, a lot of people are going through the same thing, and that's why I felt like it was important for me to document my journey, because I can relate. You can relate to me and I can relate to you. And that's very, very important when it comes to fitness and someone telling you what to do and how to do. Because, some people have never been fat. Some people have never been obese. And for them to tell you how to lose weight when they never had to do it is kind of like, I can't. It just don't resonate with me, you know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people are like that, but to see somebody who's done it and is currently doing it is you really have no excuse, So, and I want to be that person. So, yeah. All right, so let's get to the weight loss update. So I don't remember the last time that I did a YouTube video where I told my weight. So I do a lot of TikTok videos, but I've been really slacking on my face or my YouTube videos. So we're going to get better on it. We're going to get better. But when it comes to the last time I weighed in, I want to say I was probably 271, somewhere around that. And I have stayed at this plateau or this range plateau, I guess you could say, of like 275 to 263. It's just every week, it just bounces back and forth, back and forth. So, originally my first goal weight was 275. And then my second goal weight was 265. Now my third goal weight is 250. And I have been having the hardest time trying to get to 250. But at the end of the day, like, as long as I stay between that 275, 250 range, I feel comfortable, because if anything, and if anyone knows, like, when you've lost a lot of weight, one of the biggest fears of mine is gaining it back. And so to me, I feel that staying in a certain weight range, will keep me from doing so. So I weigh in once a week. So I don't weigh in every day. I weigh in once a week, and that's kind of like my wake up call. If I've been, wilding out during the week or not doing the things that I'm supposed to, when I step on that scale and it shows that I have not been disciplined that week, that's my wake up call. And it's better to have a wake up call when you're in that certain range than when you're way out of that range, because it's happened to me plenty of times where I was on the right path and then I slipped. And the next thing you know, I done gained 20, 30 pounds back. And I'm like, what? And then it just goes from there. I just keep gaining. So it's a whole lot easier to lose 10 pounds than it is to lose 50 pounds. So, make sure that you stay within that certain range. And then, once you start seeing that increase, and you start taking action. So my weigh-in from yesterday, so I did recently weigh in yesterday, and my weigh-in was 259. So I finally broke that 260 plateau. That was killing me. It wasn't killing me, but it was really getting on my nerves, because I know I put in the work. And so I hit 259. So that gives me, I'm 9 pounds away from my goal, which is very exciting, very exciting. I'm just gonna keep working. I'm just keep working at it, and because I'm not disappointed with myself. I'm not disappointed with how long it's taken me to get there, or get here, or any of my workouts, or the things that I do are things that I wasn't doing in my 20s. Things that I can do now, it's ridiculous. People have never seen me even look like this. People have never seen me work like this. People have never seen a lot of things that I can do now. And I impress myself at the end of the day. And so I never want to go back to the old 443 pound version of myself. And honestly, I'm scared to hit 300 pounds. So that's probably the biggest fear right now is 300 pounds. And that's why I set the 250 pound goal, is because it's far further away from 300 than like 275 is. 275 is like 25 pounds. It seems like I can gain 25 pounds in a weekend if I wanted to. And so I'm trying to distance myself as far from that 300 as I can. So yeah, so as far as the weight, I know that was a long drawn out weight update, but it's because I haven't done these videos in a while. But 259 is where I'm at right now. All right, so let's talk GLP-1s. All right, so like I said, I was 443 pounds. I decided to try out tirzepatide. The reason why I chose tirzepatide was because some people were saying Ozempic was great, and Ozempic and Wegovy or whatever, but they said tirzepatide was better. And so I figured I might as well start with the better. And so it was just that simple. I found a third-party telehealth company, and it was really expensive. So I don't think it's as expensive now as it was back then, but it was really expensive. But at the end of the day, I knew I had to choose myself over eating, or whatever. I had to make a choice. Like, how important is it to me? And it was very important to me. So I subscribed to their program, and I was able to get, the tirzepatide, and the weight came off fairly quickly. When you're dealing with the GLP-1s, from my experience, it didn't give me any more motivation. It didn't give me any more drive. It didn't give me any more discipline. It just quieted that food noise. So where I would just eat just for eating's sake, or drink alcohol. I drink a lot of alcohol or sodas or juices or whatever like that. It just I didn't have that hunger all the time. I didn't wake up hungry and go to bed hungry. I woke up and I would do things and I forget I was even hungry or forget the last time I ate. And so, and then, you have to pay attention to that. You got to pay attention and know that you got to eat the proteins and drink the water and all that stuff, but you really don't want to. But, you have to do that. For me, I wanted to make sure that I had the least amount of loose skin as possible. So I did notice that a lot of people who lose a lot of weight, they'll have loose skin. So it was expected, but I wanted to make sure I did whatever work I could to eliminate as much of it as I could. So I was lifting a lot of weights during the time that I was doing cardio, hoping that, that muscle would replace that fat and there would be some kind of trade-off to where it wasn't a lot of loose skin. And it worked out. Like, I don't have a lot of loose skin, thank goodness, but, that's how I did it. Other people have done it a different way. And if you choose not to work out while you're on the GLP-1, that's a different way. I can't speak on that, but, whatever works for you. So yeah, that helped a lot. The GLP-1, I owe everything to it. Now, a lot of people have problems with taking the GLP-1. Either they don't want to take it because of the research done, or they don't want to take it because they feel it's cheating, or they don't want to take it because their family doesn't want. At the end of the day, it's up to you on the tool that you use to get to that goal. It's not up to anybody else. So if you choose to do it natural, which a lot of people be like, oh, naturally, and it's like it is a compliment. Like, that is an achievement to do it naturally, to do it without any GLP-1s or surgeries or pills or whatever. That's great that you did that. I can't knock anyone who does it that way, but I can't knock anyone who does it any other way. As long as it's not something that's like crazy, dangerous. I can't knock anybody else. These things are prescribed by doctors. So it's not like you're getting it off the street somewhere. So as far as I know, it's safe for me, and it has worked for me. And anyone who's doing it is looking at the health benefits and not so much, hopefully, the health benefits and not so much like the vanity, of losing weight. So, for me, I was in, that range where it was very dangerous for me. 443 pounds, you can't live like that. Not long. So for me, it was definitely for the health, and I wanted to live more life, and I wanted a better quality of life at the end of the day, a much better quality of life, to where I could do the things that I wanted to do, like run and lift weights and hang out with my nephews and not be breathing so hard when I record videos and all that good stuff. Like, tie my shoes without start breaking into a sweat and breathing hard. Like, that stuff's embarrassing. And it's hard, even if nobody's around, I'm still embarrassed because I don't feel that should be the state I'm in, and I was like that in my 30s and late 20s. And it was like, what are you going to do? So now I'm 45 and I'm in better shape than I was when I was in my 20s, which lets me know that I could have done this a long time ago. But, it's better late than never, right? So besides the tirzepatide, I've also done retatrutide. Now, I'm no doctor on any of these things, and so you please talk to your physician if you're thinking about doing anything. But the retatrutide was supposed to help me maintain the muscle as well. So at a certain point, I got off of the tirzepatide and did the retatrutide because I wanted to preserve muscle and I wanted to get bigger, muscle wise, and so I feel like that helped, but it wasn't helping when it came to losing weight. I believe like I was building muscle and I wasn't, the numbers weren't going down on the scale. So it was like, if I want to hit 250, that's not going to do it. So I went back on the tirzepatide, and so now I'm on that again. I also use cagrilintide. Now, these are all done. You can buy these from like third-party vendors. Um, and yeah, the cagrilintide helps with the appetite suppression. And the tirzepatide does too. I mean, it's just like they all work together. And so, like I said, I can't give you the technicalities of it, but for me, they work very well. So yeah. But if you have any other questions on certain peptides, I've done quite a few of them, and I just kind of, they get expensive too. I just kind of brought it down to a couple now, and just work out, like I said, work out. You got to work out. You got to move. You got to move. Last year, I had set to do all these different events, and that was what kept me focused was, I got this event coming up in 2 weeks. So I can't fall off, because if I stop working out and I try to go do that event, I'm gonna look like a fool, or I'm not gonna do it. And that kept me going through all of last year. But now I have built those habits that I needed to do it without paying, $100 and some for an event. And, these events aren't cheap. So I feel like I built the habits to where I can go do the things without having to pay for an event. I'm disciplined enough to know, all right, I got to go to the gym today, and I don't have to have an event, in the near future. I can just get up, go to the gym, get my workout in, and feel great. So yeah. All right, so challenges that I faced. In the beginning, I had issues because I used to drink a lot. Drink a lot of alcohol. And so I noticed a pattern with the drinking of the alcohol. Whenever I was on a weight loss journey and I stopped drinking, as soon as I started drinking again, I started gaining the weight back. And as soon as I started drinking again, if it was events that I planned to go to, I stopped going to them. And if it was workouts that I planned to do, I would stop doing them because I would have a hangover, or I just didn't feel good from drinking. And so I had to make a decision that I had to be done with drinking, had to be done with alcohol. And that was probably one of the biggest challenges, because if you didn't know, I was in the Navy, and even before the Navy, like, I had almost made drinking alcohol part of my identity. Actually, I did. I had like a little nickname. It was Drank Too Much, and it was just part of me and who I was. And when people saw me, they knew I was going to bring some alcohol, or I was going to drink some alcohol regardless. And we was going to have a good time. And once I stopped, then it kind of got weird, because, I'm the guy that drinks, and now I'm just sitting around sober and don't have much to say. And I'm just, I'm a different person. And I mean, I had to pick myself, and I knew in order for me to hit any kind of goals or to do this the right way, I had to give it up. Like, I drank more than I ate. It was bad. And, as you get older, you start worrying about all that drinking. What did it do to my, my kidney, my liver, all that stuff. So, I gave it up, and I think that was well, I know that was the best thing I ever could have done. Giving up that alcohol, I think that helped the weight come off faster, and it guaranteed that I would be ready for anything. Like if there was an event on the weekend, I knew I was going to be ready for it because I'm not going to be hungover. I didn't drink all night last night. I didn't go out to the club. I didn't do none of that stuff. Like I worked out all week. I ate better, and I was ready for that challenge. And so I think the alcohol, it held me back. And that was definitely a challenge that I had to overcome in order to get to where I am today. Other challenges are like, if you have friends and family who like drinking and eating. And I think once you give something up, that's when you realize how much of it you did with certain people. So once you give up alcohol and you go hang out with your friends, then you realize how much alcohol played a part in your relationship. Or if you eat a lot and you go with your friends and you're like, I'm about the salad today. Then you realize how much you eating these heavy fat calorie foods, how much that was a part of your relationship. I had some friends when I was working in San Diego, and we used to always go out for lunches, and we just eat like crazy. So whenever I would go and say, okay, I'm gonna just have a salad, or I'm gonna just have some of this, they would just lose it. Like, what are you doing? Why don't you eat the burrito like you usually do? Why don't you eat the chips and the salsa and all that? And I'm like, look, are you on a diet or something? And it's like, oh my goodness, like that's not cool, And I used to be that person, especially when it came to alcohol. Like, come on, drink, drink, drink. And they would be like, come on and eat. Now, if it's smoking cigarettes too, like things will trigger you. And so I would say you have to remove yourself from those situations until you can learn how to handle those situations without giving in to the temptation. And so, yeah, those were very big challenges. Other challenges, like whenever I would get a new job, or not a new job, but whenever my schedule would change at a job I was at, then the first thing that would stop would be the gym. And, I would keep all the bad habits, but the good habit would go away. And so I had to try to change that, or I changed it to where the gym was always going to be the priority. Not so much the sleeping in, not so much the staying up late, like, not so much all these things that I would put in front of it, I had to put behind. And, if you don't make it to the club tonight because you went and worked out in the morning, it's not necessarily a bad thing. So I had to, whenever a schedule would change, then I'd have to find a place for that gym to go and then stick to it. And I did that. I mean, sometimes, it would be like I'm taking a flight and the flight leaves at 8 in the morning. Well, that means I got to wake up at 2 in the morning, hit the gym, and then, hit that flight. If that's what I got to do, I got to do that. So that's what I would do. So those are just normal challenges that most people face. It's just you have to make a reason instead of making an excuse. You have to find a way to make it happen by finding, an excuse to say you can't do it. So, all right. So my goals for the next couple months, I really would like to get down to 250. I got 9 pounds to lose. It's going to be tricky. It just seems like once you get to those last pounds, they are the trickiest. And so, that's my goal. Continue to work out, continue to stay disciplined, continue to do all the good things, and just stay focused, stay disciplined, and hopefully inspire and motivate other people to do the same. I really want to make sure that that I help other people, because I know the feeling, and I know the feeling of being at your heaviest and just being, depressed and just not feeling good. And then I know the feeling of stepping on that scale and seeing like, oh my goodness, like I hit my goal. And, that feeling is a lot better. I know the feeling of, you know, getting a smaller size clothes. Like I used to wear a size 54 jeans, 54, 32, and now I can wear a 38, 32. And so that's a lot of pant sizes. And, I used to wear like a 4X shirt, but I really needed a 5X but I didn't want to buy a 5X because I was embarrassed. And now I wear 2X, 1X. And so I know the feelings of everything in between. And it's hard. It's very hard. But once you get that discipline and consistency, then it just, and if you hang around the right people, just like I said before, you have people that trigger you to do the bad things. So you can have people that trigger you to do the good things. You can have a run group. Every time you see them, you're about to run. So, they bring that good out of you. You can have gym buddies that, like I would go to the gym. I didn't necessarily have gym buddies, but it was like a 4 o'clock. I think I would get there 4 or 4:30. 4:30 group that just goes to the gym every morning. And none of us talk to each other. None of us know each other, but we expect each other to be there. Like when we see each other, head nod, because we know we that crew. And so, and I'm sure a lot of people experience that, especially early mornings, because there's so little people. Like if you go at 4 or 5, gym is packed, but when you go in such, 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, it might be 10 people in there. And if you keep going and you keep seeing those 10 people, then even though you don't talk to each other, you know each other. You're expecting that person to be there. They're expecting you to be there. So, I mean, or, again, you can find a crew that actually does it. Like I gotta look at YouTube, and there's people who are a part of like a crew, a gym crew or whatever, and they go in there and I wish I had something like that. Like I wish I was a part of a crew like that, because I know that could help me advance even further. But I don't have that. But I'm open to have it, and I look for it. But at the end of the day, it's up to me. So if I don't find that gym crew, I still got to be in the gym. All right. So now in closing, this video turned out to be a lot longer than I expected it to be, but I felt like I got a lot off my chest. So when it comes to this journey, you really have to make a decision. And a lot of times it's going to come down to when you're ready to do it. But when you're ready to do it, there are options out there. There are tools out there, and you have to make a decision on what you want to do, when you want to do it, and you got to stick to it. You got to be consistent. You got to have discipline. You got to find your motivation where you find your motivation and discipline. Hopefully, you can find motivation and inspiration in this channel, and find a community. Find a community that will embrace you and bring you in and help you. Help you with the things you don't know, and then maybe you can help them with the things that they don't know, and just find people that are on the same path you are on. I think that's probably the best advice I could give. But if you can't find that, then you have to make yourself priority. You have to change your mindset to where you fix the problem. You have to. So yeah, and besides that, I gave you my weigh-in update at 259. So I'm happy about that. 9 pounds from my goal. GLP-1s, if you have any questions on those, I would talk to a physician, of course, but if you just wanted to ask me something about how something affected me, then I can give you answers on that. And yeah, that being said, if you're out there doing your thing, keep chasing those goals, embrace the pain, enjoy the process, and respect the gains. And I'll see you at the next video.